looking to throw it, and he's got the touchdown! Here's Brady's pass. It's Gronkowski! Oh, Max strips it! He is unbelievable!
Week 17 was definitely a good week. And the thing I like about this coming up to the playoffs is almost as good as the playoffs itself, if not a little bit better, because it's all the teams going at it. They want to make the playoffs. They really want to get in, and they want to be able to have a chance at the Super Bowl. So they're playing their best they've played in the whole season. And honestly, I am loving it. We saw some great games this week, some almost upsets, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And it was just a really good week of football. Next week is going to be phenomenal because it's the season finale. Everybody's battling to try to get into the playoffs, and it's going to be really exciting to see. And it's cool to see how they need like certain little combinations to happen. Like this team needs to lose, this team needs to win, this team even needs to tie. And it's crazy to see when those things happen and which teams get in and which teams get eliminated. This is the Tabor Gridiron podcast. I'm Isaac here with my dad, Steven, and we are going to talk Week 17 and everything else because this week was pretty crazy.
It was pretty crazy and a ton of fun. And I agree with you. These weeks here leading up to the playoffs are a ton of fun. We only got 1 week left of the regular season, which is the first time that we're getting a Week 18, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
Going into the playoffs then, there's actually going to be a Monday night playoff game. Like, that's going to be awesome. That's a first as well. That's going to be epic wild card weekend. Looking forward to all of that. But this week, the Bears, we'll just briefly say, did pull off a win. Oh, yeah. Ironically, they scored like 29 points or something like that.
This was the Giants, but I'm still
happy with the win. It was against the Giants, but yeah, they played, which is really good. You wanted to talk about Bucs game.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the Bucs and the Jets game, which was crazy to say the least. Now, first off, Gronk did tie with Tony Gonzalez for the most games with 100 plus receiving yards among TEs in the NFL history, which is pretty good. But the Bucs still were slacking. They did not look like the Bucs at all. And
I didn't watch the whole game, and I was watching highlights and keeping up on the scores. I thought that the Jets were going to win this game.
This was weird.
It was super weird. The Jets actually scored a decent amount of points and were totally keeping the Buccaneers in check. I was like, whoa, like Jets are actually going to win here.
Yeah, that was it was just a really weird game because especially so late in the season, you never, all these games, the teams that are like the dominant teams, you always expect them to just blow over everyone else. But clearly the Jets have some fight in them because they just lost to the Buccaneers by 4 points, which is shocking.
Well, I like what you said there. Had some fight in them. And even though you're eliminated, and there's a bunch of teams that are eliminated from the playoffs, you are still getting paid. It's still your job, and you're, in a sense, fighting for your job. Like, go out there and play. Like, you need to show everybody that you have the skills and that you have the ability to continue to be a starter, or if you are a backup that stepped in because of an injury, that you deserve it to have a starting position next year. Like, it shouldn't be just, oh, slack off, we didn't make the playoffs, and oh well. Now, they're not as fun of games to watch when they're meaningless, for sure, but teams and players should still be going out there and giving everything they've got each week, regardless of the status that they're at.
Oh, for sure, because even though they aren't going to make the playoffs or they're not going to, whatever, they still need to play because they're getting paid clearly a crazy amount of money to be on teams and to do these kind of things. So you got to, like you said, you got to fight for your job and just put on a show. Like, you're being paid to go out there, play, score some points, and just put on a good show for everybody to watch. And it's never any fun when one team just gives up and the other team is just blowing them out of the water because they know, sure, it is kind of a shot in the dark and it is pretty meaningless. But, I mean, in a sense, it's not because you're getting better at football, which is a plus in and of itself. But you're still playing out there. You're getting a better reputation. You should still play a good game because it's going to benefit you in one way or another.
Agreed. Big game I want to talk about, Chiefs and the Bengals. This was just crazy two just great teams battling it out. Obviously, the Chiefs have just stepped into a high gear the last several weeks. The Bengals fought, and they fought hard and kind of really kept this a game. You kind of thought that the Chiefs were going to take it, and the Bengals really, Jamar Chase, their wide receiver.
Jamar Chase is amazing.
Rookie wide receiver. He just took over this game. Him with Joe Burrow. I mean, Chase literally 11 catches, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. While we're on Jamar Chase, he was on my fantasy league, Isaac.
He was.
And I did put him in my lineup. He scored like 56 points. And for my particular league, this week was the Super Bowl week for the fantasy rounds that I'm in. Mm-hmm. And I won.
Let's go.
Pretty much single-handedly because of Jamar Chase. If he wasn't in my lineup, I'm not winning. So, yeah, I won my fantasy Super Bowl, which was epic and awesome because of a just outstanding performance by Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. That being said, that also helped the Bengals walk all over the Chiefs. I can't really say walk all over them because it was neck and neck the entire time. I mean, 31-34. That's crazy. You're getting into the 30s, a lot of touchdowns happening, a lot of big epic plays. But we touched on it last week, and I'm watching this game. And whether it's my fantasy points or them coming back and beating the Chiefs, why did you not stop Jamar Chase? After he's catching how many balls and running, they couldn't tackle the guy. Like, wouldn't you, even going into the third quarter, then, okay, fine, going into the fourth quarter, be like, all right, somebody else has to beat us. Mm-hmm. We are done having Jamar Chase walk all over us. And they couldn't stop him.
Yeah, it was crazy because you think that they'd like catch on and they'd be like, oh, it's Jamar Chase that's beating us. But I don't know if they did and they just couldn't stop him or if they were just completely oblivious. You never know because you want them to know that it's a single player. And it's not like it was kind of like subtle or hidden. He was out there. He was just absolutely destroying them and they just couldn't stop him.
He just outplayed the Chiefs defense. Mm-hmm. Just flat out. He outplayed them and it was pretty awesome.
It was
Steelers.
Awesome.
They're still hanging on by a thread, man. Little dingly little thread, but they're hanging on by a thread. They can still make the playoffs. They need some help. They got to win, but they're still there. But this Monday night game, Steelers, Browns, just a great rivalry. But you can't put anything in stone, but most likely we can pretty much confidently say that this was Ben Roethlisberger's last home game.
Yeah, it's sad.
And it was pretty epic. He did a great job. His team did a great job. The fans were awesome. They ended up winning the game. It was a real emotional time for Ben. I'm glad that they pulled off the win. It was a great game and a great way to go out if he's really going out, which all signs really point to. You can't see him not. He's going to be retiring. It's pretty much his last game at Heinz Field. It was a great game, though. Great way to go out.
It was a great way to go out because it was just really good because he won against the Browns, which is a tight rivalry, and he won at Heinz Field, and it was just awesome to see the fans' reaction when all their cool signs and he was walking around giving them high fives. It was just a great time and it was super cool. Like you said, it was an emotional time and
he's been there forever. It's been like 18 years
and
in the same place.
I was thinking about this and the reason that he got such a big farewell and everybody made the signs is because he had such a dedication to that team. And the other thing is with Tom Brady, he's been with the Patriots so long, and he's been doing all that, but then he just moved to Buccaneers. So when he retires, I'm sure the Tampa Bay will do something big for him. But if he stayed with the Patriots and retired, they would be like fireworks. It would be epic but now back there, they're happy with their Mac Jones, and Mac Jones has been doing them very well.
I think the Patriots will still do a farewell, honor Tom Brady. He was there for a long time for sure. True. But it is going to be a different. They kind of were like, you moved on and now you're our enemy. It's sports, and I get that, and I agree. I think the last couple people that we've had, Drew Brees with the Saints, and you got Ben now with the Steelers. Real emotional times because they've been with that same team. They've had that dedication to the players, the coaches, building those relationships. And really, Ben Roethlisberger, you can see he really is a relationship guy, and he cares about building those relationships, and he cares about his teammates. You know, he goes out and he wins sometimes in unconventional ways, and he does things a little bit differently as a quarterback, but he's been a lot of fun to watch year after year, and taking young players around him and building those relationships, long-term relationships as well. And so, yeah, it's going to be sad for the Steeler Nation to lose. Really, not just the Steelers, just for the NFL to lose somebody like Ben. For me, it's been a lot of fun watching him just year in and year out. We're getting to Week 18. I want to talk about that. But first, let's kind of go around the league and, kind of see what kind of crazy scores happen.
What's the score? Nothing. What's the score?
What's the score? What's the score, Luke? What's the score?
Time for score in 60.
All right, so first off, we got the Panthers and the Saints. The Saints are looking like themselves again, 18-10. The Saints won. We got the Eagles in a victory over the Washington football. Man, they need to change that name. Washington football team, 20-16. The Rams beating the Ravens by 1 point, 20-19. The Buccaneers almost lost to the Jets, 28-24. A crazy almost upset. The Titans blew out the Dolphins, 34-31. The Patriots walked all over the Jaguars, 50-10. The Raiders beat the Colts with a field goal, 23-20. The Bengals came on top of the Chiefs in a great game, 34-31. The Bears in a great game against the Giants, 29-3. Really good to see them acting like themselves. The Bills beat the Falcons, 29-15. The 49ers demolished the Texans, 23-7. The Chargers came on top of the Broncos, 34-13. The Seahawks beat the Lions 51-29. The Cardinals almost lost to the Cowboys 25-22. Unfortunately, the Packers beat the Vikings 37-10. And on Monday night, the Steelers beat the Browns 26-14.
That Packers game really wasn't a fair matchup. Kirk Cousins was out. He was sick. Like, I don't know. Like, the team was a mess. And to have to throw them against the Packers are taking the number 1 seed in the NFC. That kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Packers are not winning the Super Bowl. They're getting knocked out by somebody.
They are.
I'm gonna tell you. Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. He's a great quarterback. The team has been doing good, but I think that there's some nicks and kinks in the Packers and even in the organization, how things are, that I don't see them being a powerhouse enough to win the Super Bowl. Somebody's going to knock them off. I think there's a little bit too much arrogance going on in that team as well, and that's not going to get you very far. The Titans pulling off some wins, especially without Derrick Henry lately, is pretty impressive.
Very
right
impressive.
now, they are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Can they keep that? That will be interesting to see, and that'll all be determined by Week 18. That's, again, I'm super excited about Week 18 because who's really going to come out on top? Now, they're all in the playoffs, and it's just now it's really seeding of what spot are you going to be in. And, for the Titans, they can get a bye week. If they keep that top spot, all they got to do is win next week. And, it'll be interesting to see. The Chiefs can still take it. If the Chiefs win, Titans lose, a lot of just different things to see what happens. My favorite game going into Week 18 is going to be the Sunday night game. Sunday night game is going to be the Chargers and the Raiders.
Oh, that's a good
now,
AFC West showdown.
Not only is it just a great game, but there is a ton to be played for here because, again, the Titans are already in the playoffs. It's just kind of seeding spots for them. Chiefs, Bills, just where are you really going to be? But the Chargers and the Raiders, it is literally a match of you win, you're in. So somebody's got to just don't tie, right? Somebody's got to win. Raiders win, they're in the playoffs. Chargers win, you're in the playoffs. And the other team's out. There's no second chances. So this is going to be like a playoff game. This is going to be like a championship game fighting to get to the Super Bowl, even though it's just to get into the wild card playoff spot. But it is going to be a hard-hitting, epic game that I am just looking forward to watching.
I am looking forward to watching that too because, like you said, it's great to see all these players be going out there and playing for their wild card spot. Because, like you said, lots of these teams they're playing, but they already know they're in. It's just like seeding, and it's you're gonna be there. You just want to know where you're gonna be in there, and it's fun to see these games where it's like you don't know if you're gonna be in there, and you have a chance to. But if you mess up that chance, there's no second chance. You're either out or you're in. And that's it's cool to see because the players, they often go at it and they are going to play their heart out because they know they have a lot to lose. And so it's just going to be a very fun game to watch.
It is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's probably going to be my favorite game. I'm glad they made it the Sunday night game. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really epic. Steelers and the Ravens. Not only is that just a great rivalry game and it's just always fun to watch, it's usually really hard-hitting and just gritty and dirty, and it's a football game. But Steelers got to win this. Like we were talking before, like this is his last shot. And they can still miss the playoffs if he wins, depending on just how other teams do in the seedings. I believe it's all down with the Colts, whether they win or lose. But I really want to see Ben go out with the win. Even if they win this game and they get knocked out of the playoffs because of other reasons, like I want him to go out. I think this is a good way for him to go out. But they can still get that wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think the team is good enough. I think that there's enough issues and struggles, injuries and things like that, but I would like to see them make a run at it and at least get into the wild card, maybe even win the wild card round in the playoffs, then get knocked out. Either way, I think that's going to be a great way for Ben. I just don't want him to get killed by the Ravens or something next week, and then they're out of the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. That's just going to be a great game. Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks aren't in it, but again, it's all seeding and everything with the Cardinals. Cardinals struggling. Rams and 49ers, that's going to be a great game too. Just 49ers have a shot. They're still kind of in that hunt of can they make the playoffs. I don't know. Right now, Super Bowl, who are you looking at?
So I am looking at first off, I really hope the Cardinals can make it, but I don't know if they can make it because, like you said, they've been struggling. They did win this week, which was good, but they have been struggling. I am looking at the Bills. They've been doing pretty good.
What if we did a Cardinals-Bills Super Bowl?
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. I would be going for the Bills. Right now, I'm on. I would really like to see the Bills go all the way and just take that. Can they really do that, though? Can they beat the Chiefs, the Titans? I believe so.
The Titans are pretty good, though.
Can they knock out the Buccaneers? Can they go against the Cardinals? If the Cardinals win it, the problem with the Cardinals is they're just inconsistent. Well, I see a lot of these teams are, though. I guess that's football. We never know what's going to happen. But if you're playing at the top of your game, the Cardinals could win the Super Bowl. The problem is they're not playing at the top of their game consistently. Same thing with Buffalo. Buffalo is a powerhouse, and they got the skill. They have the talent. They have the team to do it. But some weeks they just don't show up. You're like, what's going on and what's happening? Chiefs, we didn't even think we're going to be making the playoffs, and they're the number 2 seed right now. They've just been plowing through, and they know how to play this time of year.
Yes.
We could see a Chiefs repeat.
And we saw the Patriots. The Patriots, I know a lot of people will be very mad if they see the Patriots back in the Super Bowl, but
I know your Uncle Brian wanted the Patriots and the Bucks.
That would make a lot of money, and it would be really cool. But we will talk more about Week 18, and we will go into the playoffs. Please join us again, and we will see you next week.